Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach Yom Chamishi Leparshas Chayei Sorah. Shnas Tovshin Ayin Ches Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Yesterday we discussed how the Gemara, it says that Shidduchim from Hashem means that Shidduchim that are from Hashem, Hashem is miyached shmo yalav, meaning Hashem's rotzain is that His kavod be revealed through Shidduch, in spite of the fact that we live in a matziv of Hester Panim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was meiniach this area, so the best Shidduch is the Shidduch that comes from Hashem, like you find in this parsha. Even Lavan said, Hashem Yotza Dover came from Hashem. It was this Gala. They were Avigdor Avodah Zarah. He cleaned the house out before Eliezer came. But he said, Hashem Yotza Dover. Now we want to discuss many mistakes that people have because of this. Many people believe that because Shidduchim are from Hashem, that you're stuck. Whoever Hashem wants you to marry, you're going to marry. And the question is, first of all, is that true? If you pick somebody up in the pizza shop and you bring her home after a few slices of pizza and you tell your mother that this is my bashert, does that mean it's your bashert? Another thing people say hakoil bidei shemayim chutz miyirah shemayim. The pashtus, it should come out that even if you find one in the street, it's also bidei shemayim. Kol bidei shemayim. Maybe if it's openly against the ratzon of Hashem, it's a merida, a rebellion against Hashem. That's not a good shidduch. But then the shaila is, in today's world, there are many people that struggle with shidduch, and they all say, "Where's my bas pleni lepleni? I thought Hashem chose one for me." And you even have bachrim today getting older and not finding shidduch. And the question is, why not? What is the source for this crisis? Another mud nemaisa we find today is that many people who get engaged, the engagements don't last. The numbers are way up. More recent years, shidduchim have broken in unprecedented numbers. Another phenomena we find is people get married and they get divorced. Another phenomena that many people say is becoming in style. What's the pshat? What is going on here? So first of all, I want you to know that in the Rishonim it says that a Shidduch is actually part included in HaKoil Bidei Shamayim, but it's also included in Chutz B'Yireh Shamayim. That's the way the Tashbats uses the language. He says that the emissaries of Ada HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses a Shidduch for a person. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't make a Gzeira on the person that he's going to get married to this person. It's just HaKadosh Baruch Hu offers a person a siyua. He offers a person an assistance to find his basher. Hashem helps him find his Avigdor. But Avada, it's totally, it's dependent on the person's choice, on his choice or on her choice. Nobody is mukhrach to marry the one who Hashem has chosen for them, or not to marry. That's all. Many of the Rishonim, the Shibali Aleket, many of the early Rishonim talk about this, and they say that, I want to tell you a nerdik chiddush that the Chasam Sofer says. Chasam Sofer says, the famous kushya from the Marik, that how come you don't make a shechiyanu when you get married to a lady? All the mitzvahs, you make a bracha. Shechiyanu, why don't you make a shech when you get married? So he says an interesting thing. He says if you buy a keli, you make a bracha. You buy a car, you make a bracha. Buy new clothes, you make a bracha. A new house, you make a bracha. What's the pshat? Listen what he says. He says, you know what the pshat in the bracha of Shechiyanu is? When you purchase a new keli, or you get a new pri, and you make it to a certain yomtiv, that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Hakoil toli b'Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'atzma. You know? The guy who buys himself a car. Know what the guy thinks? What do you mean? I looked for this car. I hunted for this car. It's hevel havolim. You have to know, you think, I like this color, I picked this color out, I picked this, I looked in this paper, I looked in this place, I went that. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, ki hu zeklal. Whatever you're going to get is a koil min hashamayim. It's already pre-decided. Hu tziva, his lashon is, umi yefer. That's what he says. So over there, you make shechian. Avigdor, he says, hatolui bebechiras v'chefetz ha'adam. Something that's dependent on the bechira and the desire of a person, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't change the bechira of a person. Yeah? And if the guy doesn't want to marry the person, no, and they don't want to get married to each other, lo yahaya ma'aseh shamayim l'chayfim l'kach. Hashem doesn't force you to do this. You're going to tell me, our boy Mem Kaidem Avlad, he tells me, Hashem decides the chilum. Ain't lo no asik b'nistar. That's not our business. Shatamut l'mais. She says. And therefore, you don't make a shechianu on it. Tell, you know what kind of chiddush this is? The Bam Chiddush. Tell the guy, what do you think you choose more? A car or a wife? I said, of course, a wife, a car. Hashem Yotadavar. Nay, all the Rishonim say, Mamish a peh echad. There's no such a thing. You have to know that. He says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to give a person a chayfetz, you know what happened? Let's say the guy who's giving you the chayfetz decides not going to give it to you, says. You're going to get the exact same chayfetz somebody else. Hashem's going to arrange it. But if a guy decides he doesn't want to marry you, don't marry the person, you're not going to get married, it says. HaKadosh Baruch Hu could bring you another wife, but you don't make shechianu on this marriage. This is something that the Stipler writes and said many times over in his life. He said it was nisames and nisbaretz. It became certified and ratified and factual. Etzli harbe pama many times. That which Chazal say 40 days before the Vlad is born, the Basko goes out, it does not mean that it's a Gzeira min HaShamayim that has muchrit to be. The Basko just says that this is the Tzuga Pasta Zach. That's all. And she's royally. And you could get her easily. That's what he says. The Teitzah of the Baskal is that this girl, you could find her easily. The Siyata Dishmaya is going to be in this direction. But even on this, there remains a matter of Bechir. That a person with his Maisim, and this is where the danger of dangers lies in Shidduch. Azayda used to say this over and over and over. When people would ask him, where is my Shidduch? Azayda said, you remember that second girl you went out with? That you thought she had a little too much basar on her? You should know that was your Zivug. You blew it. And she's happily married by now. With somebody else. And you lost your Zivug. And he told the girl, you went out to your Zivug? Remember that guy you went out with? You thought his gait, he didn't walk like a skishmaka guy. That was your Zivug. How long ago? A girl called me up. I said, she's going out with somebody. There's one problem. Everything stimms. I'm looking for somebody who's intellectual, can have deep conversations. Looking for somebody that's a mensch. Here's a guy who meets all the criteria. One thing. When he walks, he doesn't walk 100% straight. He has like a gait to him. I said, so what? I told him, I'm going to tell you about something right now. You tell me where it says, in any Shulchan Aruch, where it says in any Sefer, that the Ratzon Hashem is you should look at what is the guy's gait. Are you out of your mind? What the problem is, she had her will, and her will. So she said, maybe it's Siyata Dishmaya. Yeah, it doesn't. It's a fruma. Maybe it's Siyata Dishmaya. I said, maybe. But maybe you're krum v'akochik. Maybe you're a backman pretzel. Maybe your mind is so twisted because you're so fagoyished, and you so have no musik that where your rotzen is coming from. I understand that when somebody goes out with a person, everybody has two roles. One role is the role of a spouse. Each person is going to function as a spouse. A man to a wife and a wife to a man. I've asked this question to 100 girls at least, maybe much more. And I say, what do you have to offer a lady, or what do you have to offer a man? And the things that I hear are such tusim. What do you have to do with the job? I said, imagine a guy came to a job, and the first question they ask you in human resources, they say, why should we hire you for this job? You know what the person says? Because I'm desperate. I need a job. I've been out of a job for a while. I'm desperate. You know what that's going to guarantee you? You're not getting that job. They want to hear, do you understand what this job entails? Did you do your homework? And can you present yourself as telling me why you're good for this job? I remember asking a girl, what do you have to offer this me? No, she tells me. I said, what, your shoes? What are you offering the guy? I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? What do you have to offer the guy? I said, there's two things you're going to be a role. You're going to be a great wife, or a decent wife, or you're going to be a great mother, or a decent mother. Which one are you prepared for? You got the clothing, you got it. You're looking good, you're dressed up, I'm sure you drained your parents' bank account down to the bottom, as much as you can. You think that's going to get you a shidduch? That's what I tell the bacher, what do you have to offer a girl? You're going out with a girl, what do you have to offer her? What are you going to say to her? What you have to say to the person is, why am I going to be a good husband to you? Because I sit and learn. It's very nice. But you got to say why you're a husband. What are you going to be a father? What kind of father are you going to be? You're going to love your kids? That's what you have to say to somebody. No. People don't care about that kihu zekla. Mamish. I remember a girl called me up and said, I don't want to break the shit out. So why? His sense of humor is a little off. I don't think he's that funny. And he makes these jokes, and I don't like that. I think you're retarded. Don't call me when you're 35 and say, where's my shidduch? Now, a lot of times you have a problem, is that parents, mothers decide what's good for their children. Now, we live in a generation today where everybody wants to get what they want. Everybody tries their hardest. They're muchizach, pushing it. They must get what they want. And it's amazing to me when somebody wants to get what he wants. It's konishver. That's the worst thing for a shidduch. I believe that one of the biggest problems today in the world of shidduchim is that it's all about me. This is what I want. This is what I need. And if it's about you, your choices are never going to be the Ratzon of Hashem. A young man comes to me in Lakewood a few months ago, 6 months ago, and he says to me, I listened to your tape on Shidduchim. I'm having a problem with Shidduchim. I look the guy up and down and I say, I know exactly what your problem is. He was a shtadi looking guy. I saw the guy had the right kind of glasses. His shirts were the right kind of shirts. His pants were the right kind of pants. He was like dressed like he was on show. I say, you know what your problem is? You have a picture of the girl that you want to marry. There's one big problem. That picture has nothing to do with the shidduch that Hashem chose for you. So you're going to be looking and looking. And the problem is the shidduch that you're looking for, you only find in the movies because they have a lot of makeup artists. And these people get made up and they're really ugly, who knows what, but they make them up and they put all kind of fake faces on them, and that's the kind of face you want to marry. So you're never going to get married. I guarantee you're not getting married because what you want doesn't exist. You have nothing to do with the Ratzon of Hashem. I tell people it's easy to get a shidduch. It's really easy to get a shidduch. No, you say to Hashem, Hashem, I want to do your Ratzon. I'm going to take my narishkeit out of the equation, and I'm going to be machni yourself and say, Hashem, if you send me this shidduch, I will accept it. Now the kasha is, what if you don't like the way it looks? So there are rules. I asked my grandfather that, and he told me the rules as follows. He says, no wife in the world is going to look good for the who knows how many years. Looks is something that dissipates very quickly. When you wake up in the morning, he said, no one wakes up with makeup. Everybody's breath smells bad, and everybody has cooties on his eyes, and that's how it is in the real world. So he said, if you took 100 people and you gave them a drawing board, and you said to them, draw a picture of the wife that you want to marry. You have one of these etch-a-sketches, and Hashem gives you the technology, you can draw the picture. He said, I have 100 guys, maybe 199 for sure, would never draw a picture of their own wife. You know why? Because their ruts, if they could choose, that they would make a different picture. Everybody has their ritzaynos. But if you're locked into your ritzaynos, you're stuck. I told a person, Mazeda said, when you go out with somebody, I knew a very chashuv guy who went out with somebody. And the guy had a problem with the girl. Every time the girl smiled, there are some people when they smile, you can see their gums, their top lip gets all the way up to their nose, and you see the whole entire gum sticking out. And this Talmud Chacham, and it was an Erlich Mensch, and it bothered him. So Mazeda told him, go out another time. See if it gets diminished. If it doesn't get diminished and attack irks you, then, you know what you say? Forget about it, it's not your shidduch. Because if something bothers you, but if what's bothering you is that it's not your ruts, it's not the etzem, something that bothers you. You just want something nicer. You want something a little taller. I know a younger man who was a handicapped fellow. And he went out with this wonderful wife. This guy had a lot of issues. And he got married. This girl was ready to get married to him. And the guy had a problem. He always thought he's going to get somebody taller. The guy was such a tzaddik. I didn't know he knew the difference between a tall and a short girl. The girl was not short, but she wasn't 6 feet tall. He says his dream was 6 feet tall. I said, you're not 6 feet tall. He knows, but that's what he was thinking of. The next was that he called me up and he said, you be machriya for me. And he called me a number of times after he got married to work out the issue. You know, he knows it's shtosim. I told him, person has shtosim now, but he give up a shidduch for that. Yeah, your mind. Or a girl. Here's a boy meets a girl. The girl's grandmother asks the girl, no, is he making a lot of money? He said, no. What's her question? What's the grandmother's question? What do you need him for? So what do you need him for? You gotta make money. What's hustle for? And a lot of times the boy thinks about the girl, same thing. Now, it doesn't mean that when a person gets married, he shouldn't look for money. But what happens if you get married, and then the money doesn't appear, and you break the shidduch? So then you're not accepting what a Bnei Shalom wants. Then you're not accepting at all the plan of Hashem. That's what a person has to realize. The Briskirov got married to a very wealthy shidduch. The guy gave him a block of apartment houses. I was in Varsha. But during World War I, there was a big upheaval, the taxes weren't paid, and the government took away the houses. The full cost took them away. Briskirov lost everything. No? What did he do then? He went into a room with a Chayei Sorah, stayed there for a few hours, and he came out. So when I went in, I thought I was a poor man. And now I found out I'm a rich man. He got an awareness. But people get so bent out of shape. I know people who said zog to money, they wouldn't give money. And it became a shalom bayis. The husband was angry at his wife. He told her, you're a kaifer. Your parnasa is made of the shemayim. Hashem doesn't say you're not getting parnasa. That's what Hashem said. You think your shver ripped you off? Your shver didn't rip you off. And this is what happens in marriages today. People get married and they have their ritzonos. People get married and they put a fake show on. They put on one show and they get married and they say, now that I'm married, I'm going to reveal the emes. I know a group of Bachrim who gave each other as references. And they put down chavrus, friend, roommates. They will all get knipped and gebunded. and they made up, you call up about this guy, they mamish gave reports that weren't gestegen, nicht gefleckt. I remember the once called me up about a guy. I said, what are you talking about? She tells me this guy, and I knew the guy. The guy always used to call me all the time. The guy was mamish Eisva. So he said, I heard the guy mamish a masmid, the guy's this. I said, when did he become masmid? Yesterday. I never heard anything. The guy called me up recently. Not long ago. The guy called me up about a bacher, a very rich guy. He said, I'm a doctor, and I'm looking to support somebody for life. You got this guy's name? I said, this guy's name? I said, what are you looking for? Somebody who's passionate about learning. Somebody could say a sheer. I said, why do you think this bacher is like that? So he said, he has a great resume. He went to the best yeshivas, he was in Brisk. Now I knew this bacher. This bacher was an oisvarf. He cut his payas off. He didn't wear tzitzis all the time. And he never showed up in yeshiva. In the middle of the winter, he went to Denver skiing. He flew to Florida. The guy was mamish making a matzav. He bought himself a $3,000 watch to show he's Mr. Cool. And I met his father. I said, what's with your son? And my son decided as soon as he gets engaged, he's going to college. He wants to be rich. I told the guy, I don't think this is the guy you're looking for. He said, but the names I called, I said, I'm telling you something, I wouldn't say if I didn't know. I'm just telling you what his own parents told me. That the guy has no shaykhs to learn. I said, I didn't say he's not a smart guy. I didn't say he doesn't have potential. But people think they get married. So they fool people. And because of the narishkeit, the other people get nispata because they like the way the package looks. And they like the way the package sounds. So they fall for it. And they get married, they find the truth. And boom. You can't do your own ruts. Your own rutzin is going to cause you to mess your kids up. I know you, Mrs. Whoever you are very well intentioned. And you mean that you want your daughter to get the tchotchke. I never forget a father called me up about his daughter, and I hear her literally screaming in the background. No, don't say that. Will you keep quiet? Don't say that. So also the guy says, oh, one moment. He starts to hit his phone, to try to get his phone to keep quiet, to put on hold, and he can't, and she's twitching. And then he finally comes back to me and says, I guess you heard what we're talking about. I said, I got the picture. I got the picture. Now, imagine this girl's going to marry to a nice, edel guy. If you marry to an edel guy, you know what you're doing? You're making the guy a miserable life. Because your mother doesn't care if your daughter is going to give somebody a miserable life. You're going to marry her off to a nice guy. And then there's going to be a divorce. You know why? Because you're trying to play God. You're trying to play Hashem. You can't play Hashem, Rabbi. You got to accept the roots in Hashem. And this is what you have to ask yourself. Do I have a chisaron in the person's thinking she's not going to be a good wife? All the time, I need somebody louder. I need somebody quieter. I need somebody who's more humorous. I need somebody who likes to take walks. I need somebody who likes to read. Who told you that? Who told me? Because you read some schmutzige column you shouldn't read somewhere in the Bina magazine, or who knows what kind of magazine, and I told you this is what you have to look for. Some therapist who's probably not married herself because she threw her husband out, or husband threw her out, who's now telling you how you should pick a spouse. Give me a break. Half these people are messed up. I know a person who's one of the big, known in the whole world, in the wide world, this person is known as one of the greatest marriage therapists in the world. Now the Emma says, I know the person personally. And I know why this person became an expert. Because this person herself had a terrible marriage. Terrible marriage. And she decided, listen, if I'm suffering from it, I might as well make my money from it. So she made tremendous money from it. She became a world speaker, travels around, speaks about marriages. I know that there's no marriage, no one's home. That's it. And the books, I even read the books that you wrote. And all the books are all telling you how wonderful she is, and how if you get a spouse like this, what kind of nebuch you are. Bob Chappella. People can't hide their ruts. You got to make yourself bottle. Yeah, can't. You must accept the ruts of Hashem. What today you're going to be smiling about, down the road, you're going to be. I know people who are on medication, emotional illnesses. It's not the end of the world. But you know what? Emotional illnesses, you have to tell somebody. You cannot say that out. You know how many people I know got married and got divorced right away because they found that right away. The person has emotional illnesses. And they didn't say it. That's a mekach toyes. You're not allowed to do that. You have to say it. Maybe if you had something when you were 2, you were a crybaby, you were colicky, you don't have to say that when you get married. You were a colicky baby. But if you have emotional illness, of course you have to say it. And I'm telling you, whenever you say it, if it's the right shidduch, they're going to say yes. I've seen it time and time again. My Zaidi says, I asked my Zaidi many times, should I tell the guy to tell? He says, you can tell. I said, isn't it going to mess the shidduch up? He said, no, you're going to discover. He said, Roiv Pamim, the girl has the same problem. That's what he said. And I've seen that experience. Now the Stipler writes that most people, he said, because of their gaiva and because of their decision that they view themselves as mashahu miyuchad b'minay, and you have to have a zamayla, mitazamayla, and if that's passing, it has to fit, it has to this. They look after the shidduchim, they come, the disciples, they come to me and they cry. The Pashi says 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, older. Where's my shidduch? I tell him. I'll tell you where your shidduch is. You met him many years ago. That's exactly what he said. And this is the big problem. He says young people, he says, should learn how to accept the ratzon of Hashem, and parents have to tell their children, you marry who's tzugupas for you, another rocheli moed, and more you have a person, a wonderful child. Know what the people heard about the parents. Parents are not balbatish. They're not like chashivah people. You know, they're not. Father doesn't have a job. So what? If he's an erlach, what do you care? And what if the father has an issue even? But it's a personal issue. Nothing to do with the kid. But how's it going to look? How's it going to look? Everybody's wondering, how's it going to look? Basically, what you do is, you ruin the shidduchim for your own self. I've heard Balabatan tell me, I need to marry Balabatan. That guy's too yeshivish. I said, what do you care if he's yeshivish? Is going to be a good husband for your wife, for your daughter? That's what you need. Nah, you know the rule. Money goes after money. Balabatish, Zil Anya, Basan Yusa, they said what they quote Gemara, they know that one Gemara they quote. It's ridiculous. And that person has to change his mind and he has to develop a whole new thinking in this. And you have to be clear what a shidduch is about. My Rebbe said, when Eliezer met what's it called? Rivka, nobody told her the first thing, he gave her jewelry. We know it says in Rashi, every piece of jewelry he said, I want you to know, I'm not fooling you. There's a lot of money in the shidduch he said there. But everything's for Torah. Whatever he gave her, it was merames, faser sadibras. A boy has to ask a girl before him if he wants to learn. Now, if he's a fake learner, he shouldn't wear a cup, or he's not going to learn. But if he's a real learner, Nitaka wants to learn, you have to ask a girl. I remember one of my daughters was ready to shidduch, and the Rosh Hashiva called me up. He says, your daughter's ready for this. I said, what is this? He said, it's a bacher, that's a machine. The guy is a machine. I said, give me an example. She said he knows 1,000 blot, Gemara, Rashi, and Tiferes, and not from his mother's stomach. He said, there's a bacher that already has a sefer with 75 simanim, muchen l'tfus. He said, there's a bacher that last Shavuos, he finished ganz Masechta Shavuos on Shavuos. He could learn till 3, 4 in the morning, he's up the next morning. Could you don't handle that? I said, absolutely. I'm happy you tell it to me. Don't tell my daughter this. I had another Aiden. Somebody told me, you have to understand what this guy is. You got to make sure you have the right daughter for us. I said, oh, wait, what's the story? I said, this is a guy that doesn't want to come home, Shana Rishayna. He wants to stay in yeshiva all day. I said, I want to know if he's a mensch. That's what I want to know. His meat in the Satish, I don't care. I'm very happy to live. I want to know if he's a mensch. Oh, he's a big mensch. Know what mensch guy was? My daughter used to go to Lakewood Yeshiva, and she used to eat lunch with him in the car. And then she ate supper with him in the car. They were for a whole year. And now they're married 8 years later. I call the guy every single night. I call him up. Whenever I call him. I don't call him every night. Whenever I call him, 12 o'clock at night. Hello? Is he there? I'm sorry, Tom. He's not home. He'll be home another half hour. Another half hour. I had a daughter that didn't have any kids. And her husband used to, they heard third Seder, you have third Seder. He didn't want third Seder for an hour. Third Seder was till 12 o'clock, then he came home, he had a little mussar for 25 minutes, then he had to say his tefillas, and then he spoke to his wife. I told my daughter, call us up, call your mommy up, call your sisters up, shmooze at them, and from America, it's all because you don't have kids. And at that time, your husband will come home. But if the wife doesn't go for that? That's not a right shidduch. I'm not saying every one of my daughters has that, and not everyone's ready for that. But you have to have the right shidduch. What you have to say, Klor, this is what I'm looking for. Can't make yourself, you're a cool guy, you're not really interested in this and that. Or you can't, I'm a big learner, and you're kind of guy, a big learner. How many times guys say they're big learners, then they come home, you get married, the wife didn't see the guy open a safe. So, well, Shana Rishayna, you don't learn Shana Rishayna, you don't learn, everybody knows Shana Rishayna, for no night Seder. Where do you get this nonsense from? Who told you this rule? That's the rules people said. It's about your roots. It can't be, you have to be a mensch, you have to be a good husband. A good husband is concerned about his wife, appreciates what his wife does for him. He understands it's not easy for her. And on Shabbos, I've seen mamish good husbands, amazing masmidim. And one of my son-in-laws, I was mamish just spoiled for him. He didn't sleep on Shabbos. Never slept on Shabbos. You first get married, it's part of the time, you have Shabbos afternoon, you spend time with your wife. So what he would do was, he would go into the room, make like he's going to sleep, and as soon as my daughter fell asleep, he'd jump out of bed and went to her Spanish. So she didn't stare her, she was sleeping already. It's probably just spoiled. You have people like that. Most people can't do that. Most people are holding by that, but you have to have the right sukkah pasta zach. If that's what you're holding by, that's what you do. Otherwise, it becomes your ruts and my ruts, and you'll always find Rabbanim to be on either side. Everybody's going to find people who are going to say they're right, and that's going to be the undermining. Be mevatel yourself to the rutzin of Hashem. Accept the rutzin of Hashem. Machni yourself to the Ratzon of Hashem, and then you're going to live. You're going to find your shidduch easy, and it's going to be the right shidduch. Don't worry about peripheral things that are not negated to the etzem bias and etzem yadus, and you live together. L'irich yom and b'shanim tayvim.